Okay, good day to everyone. Again, this is Mamakon. And for this video, panibagong standard na naman yung pag-uusapan natin. We will be talking about PAS number 34, the interim financial reporting. Okay, so this is an adaptation ulit of the International Accounting Standards with the same number, 34, and with the same title, interim financial reporting. Okay, so kung titingnan natin yung title or yung yung title ng standard, magkakaroon na tayo ng idea kung tungkol saan ba ang pag-uusapan natin. Since this is financial reporting, the most common financial report na alam natin is the financial statements. Okay? Pero you might be asking, Ma'am, pinag-usapan na po natin ang financial statements when we talk about PAS number 1 and PAS number 7. Okay, pinag-usapan na natin ang financial statements na yon. So what makes PAS 34 different from those two mentioned, PAS 7 and PAS 20, I mean PAS 1. Okay, so for us to understand it better, let's proceed the presentation. By the way, this presentation is the topics included in this presentation is guided by the textbook na ginagamit natin. So you can check your books as you listen to me. Okay? So let's first discuss the objective of the standard. According to PAS number 34, the intention is to prescribe the minimum content of an interim financial report and to prescribe the basic principles for recognition and measurement in financial statements presented for an interim period. So, dalawa yung hinighlight dito. The first one, the content of the financial report, the interim financial report. And the second one, the standard also prescribes the basic principles and concepts na gagamitin natin when we recognize and when we measure items to be included in the financial statements. Next, para mas maintindihan natin yung mga susunod na discussion, let's define first two important terminologies all throughout the na mababanggit all throughout this presentation. First term, interim period. So pag sinabi nating interim period, it is a period shorter than a full financial year or full accounting period. Okay, so ibig pong sabihin, di ba, pagka tinukoy natin financial year, we're talking about 1 year. And 1 year consists of 12 months. Okay, so meron kang calendar year, talking about January 1 to December 31, meron ikaw fiscal year to any 12 consecutive months. Okay, so any period shorter than a 1 year is considered to be interim period. And what's the second term? Interim financial report. So pag sinabi naman nating interim financial report, as the term suggests, these are financial reports containing either a complete or condensed set of financial statements for an interim period. So dito pa lang mention na yung salitang complete at saka condensed set of financial statements. And that is basically the answer to the previous question ko kanina. What makes PAS 34 different from PAS 1 and PAS 7? Okay? Sa PAS 1, binigay yung components ng complete set of financial statements. Dito sa PAS number 34, pag-uusapan natin yung condensed set of financial statements. Okay? What is interim financial reporting? So the terminology only means you prepare and you present financial statements for a period of less than 1 year. At pag sinabi nating period of less than 1 year, it can be on a monthly basis. Kapag monthly, of course, the coverage in the period we're talking about is a month. When we talk about quarterly, ang pinag-uusapan natin ay for a period of 3 months. Pag sinabi nating semi-annually, for a period of 6 months. Okay? Semi-annually is referred to as semester reporting. Okay. Alin dito yung common na interim reporting na nangyayari or ginagawa natin? The most common is commonly used is the quarterly. Okay. in terms of frequency of interim reporting, gaano tayo kadalas nagre-report ng interim financial reports? Sino ang required na mag-publish ng interim reports? Let's talk about what the standard says. Sabi ng standard, it does not mandate. So walang mandatory requirement na binigay ang standard kung sino ang entity na mag-publish ng reports. Hindi rin sinabi kung how frequent at hindi rin sinabi kung gaano kabilis dapat or kailan dapat magiging available yung interim reports. Okay? Ibig sabihin, walang mandated ang standard natin. However, this standard encourages public traded entities to provide interim financial reports. Okay, sino po ba itong tinutukoy na publicly traded entities? Anong ibig sabihin nun? As the term suggests, kapag sinabing publicly traded, literally, the entities has shares or stocks that are traded publicly. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Yung stocks and shares ng mga entities na to ay pwedeng bilhin ng public. If for example, ikaw, meron kang capacity at meron kang pera, for example, na pambili ng stocks. And the stocks ng company na bibilhin mo is, or the company na gusto mong bilhan ng stocks ay publicly traded. So, pwede kang bumili. Because they are listed. Saan po sila listed? Sa stocks exchange. In the case of the Philippines Stock Exchange. Okay? Usong-uso na yan ngayon, mga stock trading. Okay? Ano pang sinasabi? Ano pang encouragement ng standard? Kung ikaw ay magpo-provide ng interim financial reports, you do it at least at the end of the first half of the financial year. So, semi-annual ang pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? Kailan ito encouraged to be made available? Not later than 60 days after the end of the interim period. So for example, January 1 to December 31 yung year natin. So the first half is January 1 to June 30. So dapat 60 days, within 60 days after June 30, available na yung interim financial reports. And again, that is just an encouragement of the standard. Ulitin lang natin, the standard does not mandate. It only encourages. Now, parang you might be asking, ma'am, parang napaka labo naman po nun. Ano? So kung hindi po minandate, kung hindi po siya mandatory, at kung encouragement lang po yan, eh sino pa po ang gugustuhin prepare ng financial reports? Eh dagdag trabaho po yan, di ba? Okay, ano sabi doon sa standard? The discretion on which entities is to prepare interim financial reports, binibigay na nila sa governing body, sa local governing body. So in the case of the Philippines, yung mga government agencies, like for example, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Philippine Stock Exchange, sila na ngayon yung nag-provide ng list ng mga entities na required mag-provide ng financial reports. Okay? Saan natin malalaman or sino-sino daw po itong mga required na mag-submit ng financial reports? You look at the Revised Securities Act and you look at the rules on the Commercial Papers and Financing Act, nakalist po doon kung sino ang mga required mag-submit ng interim financial reports. Ano pong financial reports ang kanilang isa-submit quarterly? Kailan po nila dapat ito ma-submit? You look at the 45 days. Now, 45 days after each of the quarters. Okay. Ano po mamang i-report namin? Sabi natin kanina, the standard prescribed the minimum content of the financial report. And ano po yung minimum content na yan? So, ito yun. Yan. Ayan. Ayan. At ayan. Ano? So kung titingnan mo siya, ma'am, it looks familiar. Okay. Statement, 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 statement. Financial position, comprehensive income changes in equity, cash flows, notes. Familiar po yung mga yan. Bakit? Kasi yan po yung pinag-usapan natin noong PAS number 1. Which is true. Because in PAS number 1, binigyan tayo ng complete set of financial statements. However, under PAS number 34, ang pinag-uusapan natin is condensed version of the financial reports. Okay? Ano pong ibig sabihin ng condensed? Hindi yan yung condensed milk, okay? Pag sinabi mong condensed, each of the headings and subtotals presented in the entity's most recent annual financial statements is required, but there is no requirement to include greater detail. Okay. So, ano yung tinutukoy? Entities' most recent annual financial statements. So, kung tayo ay nasa year 2021 at tayo ay magsasubmit ng quarterly report, financial statements, first quarter, talking about January, February, March of the year. So, kung condensed financial reports yung ipiprepare natin, isasama natin, it should include the most recent annual FS. And what is the most recent annual FS? It's the 2020 financial statements. Okay? Because that is the recent year. So yun yung sinasabi sa condense. It includes the headings and the subtotals of the most recent annual financial statements. Okay. Ma'am, kapag po ba PAS 34, dapat po condensed financial statements ang ating gagawin? The answer is hindi naman, hindi pinoprohibit ng standard na gawin mo or mag-present ka pa rin ng complete set. Ibig sabihin, pwede ka pa rin mag-prepare ng complete set of financial statements. Pero syempre, kapag ka-complete set of financial statements ang iyong ipe-prepare, you have to comply kung ano man yung mga sinasabi ng standards in the preparation of the complete set of FS. Okay? Now, na-prepare na natin yan. I-prepare natin yung condensed financial statements. Ano yung mga disclosure na nire-require ng PAS 34? Sabi ng PAS 34, kung sakali na ang entity ay nag-comply sa PFRS, that fact should be disclosed. Okay? But again, the entity shall not describe an interim financial report as complying with PFRS unless it complies with all of the requirements of each applicable PFRS. So kagaya lang din yan, class, nung complete set of FS. Huwag mong sasabihin na nag-comply ka pero hindi ka naman pala nag-comply. The only reason para i-disclose mo na nag-comply ka sa PFRS ay kapag nakapag-comply ka sa lahat ng requirements ng standards. Only by that time that you can disclose the fact that you are compliant of the PFRS. Okay. Mention kanina, bukod dun sa condensed financial statements, there are selected explanatory notes. Okay? Ano yung mga selected explanatory notes? The selected explanatory notes are designed to provide an explanation of significant events and transactions arising since the last annual financial statements. So kagaya lang din ng reason or ng purpose ng notes to financial statements, it is to better understand the content of the body ng FS. Okay, lahat ng information na nilalagay mo dun sa statement of financial position, sa statement of comprehensive income, mas maiintindihan ng readers yun kung meron kang notes to financial statements. Selected lang. Hindi mo naman ilalagay lahat. Ano? So, ang ilalagay mo lang doon, yung mga information na necessary to better understand the FS. Yung mga changes lang, significant events and transactions lang na nangyari simula nung end nung last year's financial statements hanggang sa current period na pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? Meron pong mga samples. Okay? So, have here write-down of inventories to not realizable and the reversal of that, the recognition of loss from the impairment, reversal of provision for restructuring, acquisitions and disposal of items of property, plant, and equipment. So, ito yung mga sample ng disclosures na ilalagay natin sa selected explanatory notes. Marami pa po yan, ano? So you can check the standard to identify to visit kung ano-ano pa yung mga required disclosures niya. Okay? O, ito. Presentation naman ng comparative interim statements. Okay, pag sinabi natin comparative, obviously, you are comparing something. Ano, you are comparing one to another. Okay? And of course, kung financial statements yan, ang kino-compare natin is for this year, sanay tayo dito. Yung financial statements taon na to and then financial statements nung prior year. No? So tingnan po natin, ano ba yung comparative interim statements as stated in the standard, PIS number 34. Kung statement of financial position ang pinag-uusapan, the common balance sheet, commonly known as balance sheet, statement of financial position at the end of the current interim period, and comparative statement of financial position at the end of the preceding year. So whether we are talking about annual, quarterly, monthly, or semi-annually, yung comparative statement ng na ipoprovide natin is at the end of the preceding year. Okay? Kapag ka income statement ang pinag-uusapan natin, eto, 4. Ano? Income statement ng current interim period, income statement cumulatively for the current financial year to date. Ano kayang ibig sabihin nun? Comparative income statement for the comparable interim period of the preceding year, and comparative income statement cumulatively for the comparable financial year to date of the preceding year. Check natin yun ha. Current interim period tsaka cumulative for the current financial year to date. Check natin yan. Number 3, statement of comprehensive income. Katulad lang din ng statement of income statement pala rather. Ano? Current interim, cumulative. Pag statement of changes in equity, cumulatively for the current to date, at saka yung comparative natin ay comparable financial figure doon sa preceding year or preceding date. Pag statement of cash flows, ganun din. Parehas lang sila ng pinapresent ng changes in equity. Now, para mas maintindihan natin, bigyan natin ng sample. In this particular illustration, let us assume na gumagawa ng financial reports, interim financial reports semi-annually. So pag semi-annually, 6 months yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay, ang sabi ng statement of financial position, yung interim period na pinag-uusapan natin, pero yung comparative figure na ilalagay natin is yung end ng preceding year. So ang interim period na pinag-uusapan natin, January 1 to June 30, 2021. Pero yung end ng preceding year, December 31, 2020. Kapag ka statement of comprehensive income, statement of cash flows, statement of changes in equity for 6 months, kasi semi-annual nga tayo, so June 30, June 30, June 30 of 2021 here, yung comparable lang niya. No? Yung comparable figure. June 30, June 30, June 30, but instead of 2021, 2020. So ang pinag-uusapan natin dito for from the start of the current year up to date. So that's January 1 to June 30, 2021. Ang tinutukoy natin dito, comparable figure, comparable year, January 1 to June 30, 2020 din. Okay. Now, paano naman kapag nag-represent tayo ng, let us say, quarterly tayo? Okay? So kapag quarterly tayo, 3 months yung pinag-uusapan natin. Right? So kung June 30 yung pinag-uusapan natin, June 30 ulit tayo ha, June 30. Kung quarter po yung pinag-uusapan natin, we are on the second quarter already, tama? June 30 is the end of the second quarter, tama? April, May, and June. Okay. Kung babalikan or kung titingnan ulit natin yung guide natin kanina, kapag daw statement of comprehensive income. Statement of comprehensive income for the current interim period at saka yung cumulative. So tingnan natin kung anong ibig sabihin nun. Yung statement of financial position, it's the same. Pero pagdating dito sa statement of comprehensive income, since second quarter yung pinag-uusapan natin because it ends June 30, 2021, right? We're talking about April, May, and June. Ang sabi, i-present natin yung statement of comprehensive income for 3 months ending. Okay? So ito po, mula April 1 hanggang June 30, 2021. Pero aside from that, magpre-present ka din ng for 6 months. Bakit for 6 months? Kasi apat yung ni-require. Isang cumulative, isang for the period, at isang cumulative. Pag sinabi mong cumulative, that's from the start of the year, of the current year, up to the reporting date. So that is from January 1 to June 30, 2021. Okay? Again, ito, mula April 1 hanggang June 30. Ito, mula January 1 hanggang June 30. Okay? And same din. Ibang taon lang yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. Pero pagdating ng statement of cash flows tsaka statement of changes in equity, ito yung mula January 1. Parehas. 6 months ending po yan. Okay? Next. So sinabi na, napag-usapan na natin kung ano yung minimum content ng financial report. Pag-usapan naman natin yung basic principles in recognizing and in measuring your financial statement items. Okay. So ang sabi ng paragraph 28 ng PAS 34, kung ano man yung ginamit mong accounting policies dun sa annual FS, hindi yung gamitin mo sa PAS 34, sa interim financial reports. Okay? In terms of measurement, year-to-date basis. Sabihin, from the start ng taon hanggang sa current date na pinag-uusapan natin. Yung end yung reporting period natin, reporting date natin. Pag revenues ang pinag-uusapan, kung anong ginamit mo dun sa annual, it's the same. The revenue recognition principle. It will be recognized as a revenue when it is earned, regardless kung merong cash collection. Kapag cost and expenses, same din. You recognize it as incurred. That's under the expense recognition principle. Kapag expenses associated directly with revenue, you follow the matching principle here. Sabi ng matching principle, di ba? Wala kang i-recognize na revenue kung wala kang na-incur na cost. Which means, kung halimbawa, sa first quarter mo na-recognize yung revenue, yung cost directly related to that revenue will be reported din sa first quarter. Paano po kung Paano po kung ang expenses po ay not associated directly with the revenue? Anong gagawin natin doon? It will be allocated over the interim periods benefited. So halimbawa, buong taon mo napakinabangan yung expenses na yon. Okay? Kasi hindi mo siya ma-identify sa Hindi mo siya ma-identify directly to a specific year. or to a specific period rather, to a specific revenue rather. Okay, so if that is the case, then you allocate it over the interim periods benefited. Kung dalawang quarter yung kanyang na benefit, then you allocate it on 2 quarters. Okay? What if the business is highly seasonal? Same lang din yan. You use whatever policy yung ginagamit natin sa annual. However, there is an additional disclosures required or encouraged. You are encouraged to disclose the financial information for the latest 12 months and comparative information for the prior comparable 12-month period. And according to paragraph 41, since interim ito, medyo matibay-tibay ang gamit natin ng estimation. Now, more on mag-estimate po tayo dito. Okay? What else? Kapag ka-inventories yung pinag-uusapan natin, in terms of measurement, the same lang din po yan ng ating PAS2. The lower of cost and not realizable value. Dahil hindi naman ganoon ka-practical na mag-conduct ka ng physical count, then you can make an estimate. Ano? So, you can use the gross profit method or the retail method. In the case po na ang ating net realizable value ay mas mababa kaysa sa cost, syempre kailangan nating i-report siya as NRV. Diba? So, you recognize the loss on inventory write-down. Okay? Also, according to paragraph 17, kung merong write-down or reversal ng write-down, then disclosure is required. Kailangan po nating i-disclose yun. Paano nakukuha yung net realizable value? Katulad lang din ng pagkukompute natin ng NRV ng PAS2. Selling price minus the cost to complete and the cost of disposal. Pero ang titingnan natin na selling price at saka mga cost doon is magkano siya at the interim dates. Yung sa dates na gagawa natin ng report. Okay? Seasonal, cyclical or occasional revenue, ang sabi ng standard, yung mga ganitong klase ng revenue ay hindi po anticipated or deferred. Kung hindi po siya anticipated or deferred sa end ng entity's reporting period, hindi rin natin siya i-anticipate or i-defer sa interim. So, ibig pong sabihin, saka lang natin talaga siya i-recognize kung doon lang natin sila i-recognize at i-report doon mismo sa interim period kung saan sila nangyari mismo. Okay? Kapag uneven cost din po, unevenly, like kung hindi po siya deferred and anticipated sa year-end, then hindi rin natin siya i-anticipate sa interim reports. Ano? Ibig pong sabihin, kung kailan lang din siya na-incur, doon mo siya i-report. Sa case naman po ng bonus, ay ang bonus kasi minsan ano yan eh, minsan discretion na yan ng management ano. So, i-report lang natin ng bonus kung it is a legal obligation or past practice, it became a constructive obligation na for the entity to give bonuses. And of course, if the bonus is can be measured reliably. Kasi ang hirap namang mag-recognize ng bonus kung hindi mo siya na may measure o hindi mo siya makukompute. Okay? Irregular cost, ano po ito? Ito yung mga klase ng cost na hindi mo naman talaga siya regularly talagang na-incur. Like for example, yung mga charitable contribution. Discretionary kasi yan ng discretionary kasi yung ganyang klase ng cost ano. Kumbaga, pwedeng bigyan or pwedeng mag-donate, pwedeng hindi. Okay? So if that is the case, then it shall not be anticipated. No? Ibig pong sabihin, saka mo lang po siya i-record kung talagang siya ay nangyari na, kung talagang siya ay incurred na. Okay? In terms of depreciation and amortization, so ang i-report lang natin na depreciation and amortization ay nakabase lang po kung ano yung assets na pagmamayari natin or hawak natin during that interim period. Okay? Wala tayong anticipation, halimbawa, first quarter yung pinag-uusapan natin, tapos let us say second quarter tayo ay mag-acquire ng asset, hindi natin yun i-consider kasi we're just talking about the first interim period. Paid vacation, holiday, and leave, so this will be accrued because these are enforceable as legal commitments. Sa gains and losses po, hindi po natin siya i-allocate over the interim periods. Ibig sabihin, kung kailan nagkaroon ng gain on disposal or kung kailan nagkaroon ng loss on disposal, doon sa interim period na yun natin sila i-recognize at i-report. For income tax naman po, kung anong ginagamit natin doon sa annual reporting, that's the same principle na gagamitin natin sa interim. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Paano kung ang financial reporting ay different sa tax year? O ano pong ibig sabihin ng ang financial reporting is different sa tax year? Let us say fiscal year tayo. Start tayo, let us say, ng July 1. So kung July 1 ang pinag-uusapan natin, ang 12 months noon, let us say July 1, 2019 to June 30, 2020. So isa siyang complete financial reporting year, fiscal year. Pero dalawang taxable year ang pinag-uusapan. Covered niya yung dalawang tax year. Isang 2019 na siya, isang 2020. Ano pong mangyayari? What's the implication on that? So, ang sinasabi lang dito, dahil nga gagamitin natin kung ano yung ginagamit natin sa annual, i-apply mo kung ano yung effective tax rate para doon sa year na covered noong financial report. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? So, kung halimbawa, iba ang taxable, ang tax rate ng 2019 sa 2020, di dun sa income ng 2019, you use whatever is the tax rate ng 2019. Dun sa income ng 2020, you use the tax rate of the 2020. Okay? Idedepende mo siya sa taxable year. So, yun po. If there are changes in accounting policy, this is covered by PAS number 8. So, kung accounting policy, kung tatandaan natin yung standard number 8, PAS number 8, ang change in accounting policy is to be treated retrospectively. Retrospective or retroactively. And as a retroactive application, there is a restatement of the financial statements, particularly the beginning balance of the retained earnings. So in that case, PIS number 34 provides that a change in accounting policy shall be reflected by restating the financial statements of prior interim period and the comparable interim periods of the prior financial year. Okay. So, apply mo si PAS number 8 doon. Alright? So, ayun po. I guess yun na lang ang coverage ng discussion na ito. For your references, you can check IAS number 34 with the same title and also the Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards book of Sir Felix Peralta and Sir Christian Felix. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you have questions, you can comment your questions. You can ask questions through our LMS. Okay po. Until our next video.